After dating Evan for 7 years, he finally agreed to marry me. When I happily walked up to the wedding stage, I found that the groom was actually Evan's good friend Nathan. Evan himself was wearing a groomsman suit, laughing and standing beside Nathan. I went along with it and really married Nathan. Evan panicked. He knelt before me crying, saying he just wanted to play a joke on me. The officiant was still reciting the vows, and Nathan stood before me with a somewhat sullen expression, not even daring to look me in the eye. I stared with red eyes at Evan, who stood beside Nathan in the groomsman suit. I saw him biting his lower lip, his shoulders twitching from time to time, seemingly trying hard to hold back laughter. "May I ask both of you, are you willing to have children together and be filial to your parents in the days to come?" "I am willing." Nathan was the first to speak. Everyone's eyes were on me, and I mechanically uttered those 3 words, "I am willing." "May I ask both of you, are you willing to grow old together and welcome a happy life in the future?" "I am willing." Nathan's cheeks were slightly flushed, and the head that had been bowed just now looked at me firmly. But my gaze remained fixed on Evan. I wanted to see what he intended to do first. When our eyes met, Evan raised his eyebrows, as if wanting to see how I would respond. I bit my lip and finally said the words, "I do." Cheers and applause erupted all around. After exchanging rings, someone shouted, "Kiss, kiss." Even Evan, standing next to Nathan, joined in the shouting with the others, "Kiss, kiss." I looked at Evan in disbelief, only to see him fooling around with the other groomsmen, not paying any attention to me. Nathan grabbed my hand and pulled me into his arms, whispering in my ear, "I'll explain everything to you later." I glanced at Evan again, and seeing he still had no intention of looking at me, I stood on tiptoe and kissed Nathan's lips. His eyes darkened, and suddenly he held my head, deepening the kiss. The cheers from below grew even louder. Evan, who was playing around nearby, suddenly turned around and saw Nathan and me sharing a passionate kiss at that moment. He shoved the other groomsmen aside, stormed up to us, grabbed me roughly, and angrily demanded, "Yo-yo, what are you doing?" Everyone was shocked, watching the 3 of us with expressions of curiosity. The MC standing to the side cleared his throat and smiled as he came over to smooth things over. The bouquet toss was skipped, and we hurriedly left the stage. Just after stepping off the stage, Evan punched Nathan in the face. "I consider you a brother, and yet you have your eyes on my woman." The other groomsmen rushed forward to separate them. I walked over to Nathan with a heavy heart, reached out, and touched his cheek. "Does it hurt?" Nathan, who had originally gritted his teeth and said nothing, immediately started crying out, "Ouch, ouch, it hurts, Yo-yo, it really hurts." He hit me, as soon as he heard my words. "You damn green tea bitch, I'll beat you to death." Evan, baring his teeth and claws, tried to pounce this way again but was firmly held back by 2 groomsmen. "Yo-yo, you actually still feel sorry for him? I am your fiancé. I am your husband." Evan was anxious. I sneered at Evan and said, "Evan, I want to ask you, what exactly is the meaning of today's performance? Why are you wearing the groomsman suit? Why is Nathan the one on stage?" Seeing my eyes redden, Evan laughed and explained, "What else could it mean? I was just joking with you, wanting to see how you'd react to the groom being replaced. I thought you would shout and question me on stage, but instead, you went along with it, actually exchanging rings with Nathan and even kissing him. Yo-yo, I am so disappointed in you. I'm telling you, we're completely over. Don't even think I'll come back." Evan looked at me with disappointment, pushed away the 2 groomsmen holding his arms, and left directly. In the past, I would have chased after him no matter what, then apologized and admitted I was wrong. But today, my feet felt as heavy as if filled with lead. I just watched Evan's back gradually disappear from my sight, without the slightest urge to catch up. "What? If you don't catch up now, he'll really be gone." Nathan wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth and came over to me. I shook my head. "The wedding isn't over yet, we still have to serve tea later." After changing into the toast dress, Nathan was already waiting outside. When he saw me come out, Nathan hurried over to explain that all of this today was Evan's idea. He said you were pushing the marriage too hard and wanted to teach you a lesson. No one dared to take his place on stage, so I stepped up voluntarily. I'm sorry, I shouldn't have messed around with him. I looked at him and said lightly, it doesn't matter. After all, it's not the first time. Evan and I had been in a relationship for 7 years. During these 7 years, I have always followed behind him. Evan has never given me any gifts, whether on birthdays, Valentine's Day, or Christmas. Yet I have tirelessly prepared various holiday gifts for him. Every time he received a gift, he would promise me, next time I will definitely give you one. Or he would say, I forgot, why don't you ever remind me? Once on my birthday, I finally couldn't help but remind him in advance. On the day of my birthday, he actually gave me a gift. When I opened the box, it was full of toy cockroaches. I was so scared I almost fainted, but he just laughed and said he was only joking with me. He also said that a good girlfriend would never ask her boyfriend for gifts, saying I wasn't being well behaved. Since then, I never asked him for gifts again, and he, in turn, never gave me any gifts. In the 5th year of our relationship, my parents said they wanted to meet my boyfriend. I told Evan, and he said, okay, but on the day of the dinner, he didn't answer his phone and didn't reply on Facebook. I could only awkwardly explain to my parents that he was busy with work and might have forgotten. My parents said they understood, and in the end, that meal was just the 3 of us. The meal was already finished when Evan hurriedly arrived. He apologized, saying he was in a meeting, and promised that tomorrow, he would definitely treat my parents to a proper meal. But when we had the meal the next day, I still couldn't reach him. Later, he told me he was just joking, that he didn't want to meet the parents so soon, that he didn't like being led around by me, and that he had his own plans. Evan often joked with me. We had agreed to travel together, but on the day of the trip, the one who showed up was a stranger. He said Evan hired him to accompany his girlfriend on a trip. When playing the escape room with Evan, he swapped clothes with an NPC, letting the NPC pretend to be him while he wore the NPC's clothes to scare me. Seeing me frightened and hiding in the NPC's arms, he laughed uncontrollably. Afterwards, he said he was just joking with me. But now, his joke has reached our wedding, and I no longer want to tolerate him. I'm too exhausted. During the toast, my parents looked at Nathan standing beside me with faces so dark they seemed to drip water. My mom posted on Facebook asking what was going on. How did the groom become someone else? I didn't reply, I didn't know how to explain it either. Nathan's parents, on the other hand, smiled so much that wrinkles appeared on their faces when they saw me. Especially Nathan's mother, who took off the bracelet from her wrist and put it on mine. Our Nathan suddenly called us to say we should come to his wedding. We thought it was a joke, but it turned out to be true. Auntie came in a hurry and didn't have much prepared, so consider this bracelet a welcome gift for you. I wanted to refuse, but with so many guests around, I felt embarrassed to do so and could only look to Nathan for help. He smiled at me and said it was fine to accept it. The toasting continued, and Nathan introduced his family to me one by one. After the wedding, Nathan and I saw off the guests from both sides one by one. Only after sending them off did I notice the welcome poster at the lobby entrance, and the wedding photo on it was actually a picture of Nathan and me. So, when did you start planning this? Even your relatives came? I looked at Nathan and asked. Nathan whispered back, it was the night you and Evan got engaged. Starting from the 6th year of my relationship with Evan, my parents began urging me to get married. Yo-yo, you're not getting any younger, you've been with Evan for 6 years already, aren't you planning to get married? Even my best friend said that if you two don't get married soon, you'll break up. Do you really want that? Of course not, so I started planning to propose to Evan. Who says only men can propose to women? Women can propose to men too. The first time I proposed, Evan didn't show up at all. Later he said he was busy and couldn't come, asking for my understanding. The second time I proposed, Evan hugged me excitedly and said we would go get our marriage certificate the next day. I waited happily at the Civil Affairs Bureau, but he never showed up. That day, his explanation to me was, I was just joking with you, did you really believe it? The third proposal, all of Evan's brothers were there, he agreed. I thought we were really going to get married, but unexpectedly, he played such a big joke on me again. He actually let his brother marry me. So, where are you planning to go later? Nathan suddenly asked me. I looked at him helplessly. Where else could I go? Besides my rented apartment, where else could I possibly go? It's ridiculous to say, Evan and I have been together for 7 years, yet we never lived together, not even slept together. Evan said he respected me and wanted to save the first time for our wedding night. At that time, I thought Evan was truly a rare good man. Later, when I talked with my best friend, she said that if a man likes you, he can't help but want to be intimate with you. If he doesn't want to, it either means he can't, or it means he doesn't love you at all. How is that possible? How could Evan not love me? If he didn't love me, would he have stayed with me for 7 years? It's impossible. He must love me so much that he doesn't want me to get hurt, so he chooses to respect me. Otherwise, come to my place? Nathan smiled sweetly at me. I played along with your act, so you have to play along with mine. My parents would be suspicious. Nathan and I really went home together. Just as we got out of the elevator, I saw the red double happiness character on the front door. Pushing the door open, the inside was even more covered with double happiness characters and filled with red balloons. Even on the bedroom bed, red petals were arranged in the shape of a heart. This? I looked at Nathan with some confusion. His ears were a bit red as he explained to me that it was to deal with my parents, otherwise how could they possibly believe me? Oh, I dragged out the voice message, somewhat implying a deeper meaning. He took a set of pajamas from the wardrobe for me and said to take a shower first, after a long day. I didn't hold back either and turned to enter the bathroom. Only after lying in the warm water did I realize that I was married, not to Evan, but to Nathan. Come to think of it, I actually met Nathan first, and only later met Evan. After coming out of the bathroom, I went into the bedroom. As soon as I entered, I saw Nathan shirtless. When he saw me come in, his face flushed instantly. Why you, how did you get in here? I pointed at the bed, saying, I'm going to sleep. You, aren't you going to the second bedroom? Didn't we get married? Huh? I stepped closer to Nathan, cornering him against the wall. So you mean, even though we're married, we still have to sleep in separate rooms? No, it's not, you? Nathan's face was so red it looked like it could drip water, and he didn't dare look me in the eye. Nathan, since you promised Evan you'd mess around with him, you have to accept the consequences of that mischief. Nathan and I lay on the same bed. Although there were 2 blankets, I could still feel the tension from the person beside me. Nathan, do you like me? I asked. The sudden question completely stunned Nathan, and he didn't say a word. Then, do you have someone you like? I continued. No. I suddenly turned to look at him. Nathan, let's get married. Since it has already happened, let him continue to be mistaken. I no longer want to be joked about, nor do I want to receive no gifts on holidays. After a long time, a voice sounded in the darkness, okay. Early the next morning, I was woken up by the ringing of my phone. When I answered, I heard Evan's angry voice on the other end. Yo, you're amazing. How dare you not contact me all night? What time is it? You're still not bringing me breakfast. I looked at my phone, it was 7:30. Right, when I was with Evan, he often skipped breakfast. To make sure he ate every day, I would get up at 6 to make him a loving breakfast and then take it to him. He would only take a couple of bites each time, just to be polite, and sometimes if he was in a bad mood, he wouldn't eat at all. Of course, if he didn't eat it, he wouldn't let me eat it either, he would just throw it away. His explanation was that since I made it especially for him, only he was allowed to eat it. I said, Evan, I'm already married to Nathan now, so I won't be making breakfast for you anymore. After saying that, I hung up the phone. Just as I closed my eyes, the phone rang again. Yo, what do you mean? What do you mean you married Nathan? I've already explained everything to you, yesterday was all just a joke. How can you not take a joke? Besides, isn't it just a wedding? If you're really eager to get married, I'll throw you another one. To Nathan, it was just a joke. If you're really angry, then you're being petty and can't take a joke. So every time Nathan teases me, I can only grit my teeth and laugh along with him. I didn't listen to him any further and hung up immediately. Suddenly, someone wrapped their arms around my waist, and Nathan's warm breath whispered in my ear, "Aren't you afraid he'll get mad?" I turned to the side and nestled completely into Nathan's embrace, replying, "Right now, I'm more afraid of you getting angry." Early in the morning, Nathan's face was all red. After breakfast, we drove to the Civil Affairs Bureau. Nathan asked me repeatedly if I would regret it. The third time, I finally couldn't help but look back at Nathan and said, "As long as you don't regret it, I won't either." The thing I regret most now is the 7 years I wasted on Evan. We got our marriage certificate. After leaving the Civil Affairs Bureau, Nathan had a smile on the corner of his mouth. We hadn't walked 2 steps when, from afar, we saw Evan approaching hurriedly with anger on his face. When he saw the marriage certificate in my and Nathan's hands, he immediately reached out, grabbed it, and tore it to pieces in just a few quick motions. "Yo-yo, I was just joking with you. Who told you to really marry Nathan? You kept saying you loved me the most and wanted to marry me, but just one joke and you showed your true colors first? Do you really hate the idea of marriage that much? Can't you live without a man? You're only 30 years old. Why are you in such a hurry to get married? I just don't understand." Evan grabbed my hand and dragged me towards the Civil Affairs Bureau. "Let's go, let's get the divorce done now. If you divorce now, I might consider forgiving you, otherwise, I will never forgive you in this lifetime." My hand hurt from Evan's grip, but I couldn't break free. Just as I was about to bite him, Nathan stepped forward and blocked Evan's path, pulling me away from Evan's hand. "Evan, get this straight, Yo-Yo is my wife now. She has nothing to do with you anymore." "Shut up." Evan swung his hand towards Nathan's face. Nathan dodged to the side and wasn't hit, which only infuriated Evan even more. I was wondering why, as soon as I brought up this idea, you eagerly offered to do it for me. I didn't expect you had this plan in mind. I always felt something was off. Why do you always try to stop me whenever Yo-Yo and I joke around? Turns out you had your eye on my girlfriend all along. Nathan, you're disgusting." I looked at Nathan in disbelief. His ears were a little red, but he didn't look at me. "Yes, I liked Yo-Yo from the start. Come to think of it, I should thank you. Otherwise, I would have had to watch her from afar, watch you bully her, torment her, and be completely helpless. It's all good now, she's my wife, so you can't torment her anymore. Evan, I heard you two have been dating for 7 years, and you haven't even given her a decent gift. Do you really like her?" Hearing this from someone else, I actually feel especially wronged. Before we started dating, I was very much looking forward to love. Every time I scroll through short videos and see boys giving girls gifts on Valentine's Day, like pink lipsticks or pink bags, I find it romantic and beautiful. A straight man doesn't understand so many things about girls. But even a Barbie pink lipstick, Evan has never given me one. Nathan's words hit the mark, and Evan's face darkened. He snorted, and Yo-Yo didn't say anything. "How could an outsider like you have a say?" "Let me tell you, Nathan, Yo-Yo has only ever liked me from beginning to end. She's been devoted to me for 7 years, there's absolutely no way she would like you. You might as well give up on that hope." Evan looked at me again. "Yo-Yo, I'm giving you 1 day to divorce Nathan, then come back and beg me for forgiveness. Otherwise, there's no way I'll ever marry you." Evan left, leaving Nathan and me staring at each other wide-eyed. The marriage certificate was torn up. Feeling a bit heartbroken, I walked over to the pile of scraps to pick it up, but Nathan stopped me. "Tear it up, then we won't have to get a divorce." He smiled cheerfully at me and reached out his hand. That night, Nathan was unexpectedly proactive. After turning off the light, he slipped out of his blanket and into mine, hugging me from behind. Nathan, were the things you said to Evan today true? What do you mean? I've liked you for a long time, I said. Evan pinned me down on the bed, and through a sliver of light, I saw the sincerity in his eyes. Don't you believe it? How could I? My heart was entirely with Evan, I couldn't see anyone else. After a long time, he finally said, yeah, you liked Evan for 7 years, and I liked you for 7 years. But a friend's wife is not something to hope for. The news of my marriage to Nathan quickly spread throughout the whole circle. On the day of my wedding, my best friend was on a business trip abroad, and when she returned to the country, she heard the news and immediately called me to ask what was going on. What the heck, Yo-Yo? Weren't you supposed to marry Evan? How did it change to Nathan? I bitterly smiled and told my best friend everything that happened at the wedding. Scumbag. He even dared to make such a joke. Only you could tolerate him for 7 years. I didn't say anything. Yeah, I put up with this kind of person for 7 years. Someone like me will succeed at whatever I do. Did you really get the marriage certificate with Nathan? My best friend asked me. I gave a hum. No regrets? I paused before answering, no regrets. When I saw Nathan go up on stage at the wedding, and Evan standing beside him in a groomsman's suit, smirking quietly, I completely let go. My best friend sighed heavily. Well, marrying Nathan is definitely better than marrying Evan. If you had really married Evan, I would have felt sorry for you. Our mutual friends with Evan also messaged me one after another, asking what was going on. There were quite a few people who knew about the wedding at the time, and some of Evan's brothers immediately concluded that Nathan had stolen Evan's girl. By the time I found out about it, Evan and Nathan had already been taken to the station for fighting. The police called me to explain the situation and asked me to come to the station. I was so scared that I quickly took a taxi there. As soon as I walked in, I saw Evan and Nathan, both bruised, along with some of Evan's other brothers. Everyone had injuries on their faces, but none as severe as Evan's. How old are you, and you're still fighting? I was so angry that I walked over and gave Nathan a hard punch. He immediately cried out in pain, ouch. Why are you fighting? I glared at him fiercely. Nathan felt very wronged. They said you were unfaithful, that you had already been involved with me a long time ago. I couldn't stand it, so. Evan saw that I was concerned about Nathan, strode over to us, grabbed my wrist, and said, Yo-Yo, why don't you ask how badly I am hurt? I'm much worse off than he is. Why don't you care about me at all? Yo-Yo, have you already been involved with him? I apologize for what happened at the wedding, it was my fault. I just wanted to joke with you, I never really meant that I didn't want to marry you. I said, as long as you divorce him, I will marry you. I don't mind that you're remarried. I mean what I say. I find it funny, Evan, you have played so many jokes on me, and this one is my favorite. You have been joking with me for so many years, now it's my turn to joke with you. Nathan and I getting our marriage certificate is also a joke, funny, isn't it? I shouted loudly, asking if he found it funny. The entire police station fell silent, everyone looking our way. In 7 years of dating Evan, I had never spoken to him so loudly. Even though he played all kinds of cruel jokes on me, even though he repeatedly trampled on my dignity, I had never shouted at him so loudly. This was the first time. Evan stood there stunned, looking at me in disbelief. In the end, he came to the conclusion that I was angry. Evan smiled bitterly, Yo-Yo, I knew it, your marriage registration with Nathan isn't real, right? You just did it to get back at me for the joke I played on you at your wedding, right? I know you're angry, but it was just a joke, why take it so seriously? Come on, let's go home. If you want to get married, we can have another wedding. Meeting Evan's gaze, I replied coldly, fine, this time I'll wait for your proposal. The group fight was supposed to lead to detention, but I bailed Nathan out. On the way back, Nathan and I were silent the whole time, and in the end, I was the one who broke the silence. Are you angry that I said I would wait for Evan's proposal? Nathan looked out the window and replied, no. This wedding was originally yours, I took it away from you. I heard the grievance in his voice. Don't worry, I said I wouldn't regret marrying you, so I definitely won't regret it. I know Evan too well, he would never really propose to me. 7 years is enough for me to understand everything about Evan. Everything he does now is just because he's unhappy that I don't listen to him. According to the past, whenever I made him angry, he would definitely play an even bigger joke on me to mock me. I was waiting for that day. 3 days later, Evan sent me a message on Facebook, saying he was waiting for me at the memory corridor and told me to come over immediately. It was pouring rain outside. I looked at the rain through the window but still took an umbrella and went out. It's hard to get a taxi on a rainy day. I waited for a long time before finally getting a ride. During that time, Evan called me 3 times to urge me. When I finally arrived at the memory corridor, there was nothing to be seen. The long corridor was empty, with only the sound of raindrops falling into the water. No flowers, no balloons, not even Evan. I called him, but he didn't answer. I messaged him on Facebook, but he didn't reply. I knew this was just another joke Evan was playing on me. Suddenly, music sounded from behind me. I turned around and saw Nathan holding an umbrella. He was holding his phone, playing music. When he saw me turn around, he awkwardly scratched his head. I just felt that a proposal should have background music. Suddenly, he knelt down on one knee and took a small box from his pocket, presenting it before me. Although the proposal was a bit hasty, it was sincere. Yo-yo, will you marry me? Looking at Nathan kneeling on one knee, holding an umbrella in one hand and a ring box in the other, somewhat awkward, I still smiled and nodded. The ring was slowly slipped onto my ring finger, and Nathan pulled me into his arms. Sorry, I should have given you a more perfect proposal ceremony. It's okay, this is already very good. What are you two doing? An untimely voice sounded from the side, and I turned to meet Evan's angry gaze. Yo-yo, Nathan, you too. Evan strode towards us, and I stepped forward to stand in front of Nathan. Evan, weren't you the one who kept calling me one after another to come here? Weren't you the one who said you were going to propose to me? Where's the venue? Where are the flowers? Where's the ring? Evan lowered his eyes, unable to look me in the face as I questioned him. You're not going to say this is just a joke again, are you? I sneered. Evan, being with you is so exhausting. You're constantly joking with me. And every one of your jokes tramples on the love I have for you. Evan, you don't love me at all. Evan panicked and hurried to explain, it's not like that, yo-yo, I do love you. If I didn't love you, how could I have been with you for 7 years? If I didn't love you, how could I respect everything about you? Yo-yo, I know I was wrong, I won't joke with you anymore. He quickly walked over to a nearby trash can, rummaged through it for a long time, pulled out a crushed Coke bottle, then tore off the pull tab from the top and walked towards me with a determined look. Yo-yo, marry me. I'm serious. I looked at Evan standing in front of me, holding the pull tab from the Coke bottle, then glanced at the diamond ring on my ring finger, and suddenly burst out laughing. Those 7 years were really wasted. Nathan, let's go. I grabbed Nathan's hand to leave, but Evan called out, Yo-yo, are you really going to go with him? I didn't even look back. Otherwise, stay and keep watching your act? Oh no, I should say, keep joking with me? I thought I had made myself clear enough, and I thought Evan wouldn't bother us anymore. But starting from that day, Evan actually began bringing me breakfast every day and even delivered it to my company. The company receptionist didn't know that Nathan and I were already married. She looked at Evan bringing me breakfast every day, her eyes full of gossip. Yo-yo, you're so lucky, your boyfriend brings you breakfast every day. Throw it away. I said. Huh? Isn't that a bit harsh? The receptionist didn't dare throw it away, so she could only keep bringing it to my desk again and again. I really couldn't stand it anymore. After Evan brought breakfast once again, I directly threw the breakfast into the trash can right in front of him. Evan was getting anxious. Yo-yo, what do you mean? I got up early this morning just to make this for you. If you don't want to eat it, fine, but why waste the food? I placed the empty box in his hand. You made this for me, only I can eat it. I'd rather throw it away than let someone else eat it. Evan, does this sound familiar? I didn't expect Evan to go live. He was crying with red eyes in front of the camera, saying, I was just joking with my fiancé, but in the end, he really married my brother. I don't know if he had already cheated early on or for some other reason, but anyway, I really can't accept the outcome now. We have been together for 7 years. 7 years of love. I can't believe it can be abandoned just because of this trivial joke. He refuses to see me now and has blocked all my contact information. I am really in pain. I love her. I told her that as long as she gets a divorce, I am willing to marry her. I will give her an even bigger wedding, but she is unwilling to divorce. I don't know what is really going on with her. As soon as the live broadcast was released, it attracted many viewers. Some people sneered at Evan's joke. Who would joke about their own wedding and even let their brother marry the bride on their behalf? This is the first time I've seen such a joke. No way, can anyone really forgive something like this? If my fiancé played this kind of joke on me, I would want to kill him. I don't understand the streamer's way of thinking. Your joke went too far, and it's normal for your fiancé to be disappointed in you. You should hurry up and apologize, but I don't think there's much hope of making things right. After all, marriage is a big deal. Of course, some people do agree with Evan's joke. It's just a joke, you girls are so petty. Isn't a wedding meant to be a bit of fun? So what if the groom is changed? If you ask me, your fiancé might have already been involved with that guy, otherwise, how could she just go along and marry him? 7 years of relationship will never be abandoned because of a joke. Streamer, your fiancé must have cheated a long time ago. Am I the only one who noticed that the streamer doesn't mind that the girl is remarried? If it were me, I would have been disgusted long ago. The streamer is truly a pure love warrior. The livestream went viral, pushing Evan to the top of the trending list. Hashtag pure love guy loses girlfriend over a joke. 7 years of love can't withstand a joke. Don't mess with a friend's wife. Nathan and I didn't go anywhere, but the blame was placed directly on me. My information was dug up and I was labeled a cheater. Nathan's information was also dug up, and someone photoshopped his ID photo into a memorial portrait. Both of us were fired by the company and stayed at home unemployed. Evan called me using someone else's phone number. Yo, have you thought it through? As long as you divorce Evan, I will definitely marry you. I mean what I say. I looked at Nathan and suddenly felt that even if we got married, it seemed like we couldn't escape Evan's grasp. So tired, really so tired. Evan, are you live streaming right now? I asked. Evan was a bit puzzled. Why are you asking that? I just asked, are you live streaming? No. I grabbed Nathan's phone, opened the live streaming app, and the title was, Do Pure Love Warriors Really Not Mind a Woman Who's Remarried? Because of the hype, as soon as the live stream started, many netizens flooded into the room. The comments were all cursing me and Nathan, calling us scumbags and shameless. I put the phone on speaker. Evan, say what you just said again. Although Evan didn't understand, he did as told. As long as you and Evan get divorced, I will definitely marry you. Not joking? I asked. Not joking. Fine. Nathan and I got divorced. We signed the divorce papers, and then I moved back from Nathan's house to the rental apartment. I livestream every day, counting down the calm period during the livestream. On the last day of the countdown, Nathan and I came out of the Civil Affairs Bureau, holding our divorce certificate. I started the livestream again, showing the divorce certificate to the camera. I am already divorced. When I married Nathan, it was just to spite Evan. Since he said he didn't mind my status as a twice-divorced woman and was willing to give me a grand wedding, I decided to wait for him. But Evan stopped livestreaming, and I can't even get in touch with him. I livestream every day, crying in the livestream room, saying that Evan doesn't keep his word. He promised he would marry me, but now that I'm divorced, I can't reach him at all. Netizens also felt that Evan was not keeping his word and flooded him with private messages. Finally, unable to endure the harassment, Evan started a live broadcast. He said the wedding was set for a week later at the Royal Hotel, and that 50 tables had been booked. Not only would both families and friends be invited, but netizens would also be invited to witness our love. He also said he had booked the most magnificent wedding dress for me and hired the best makeup artist and photography team. This wedding would definitely be unforgettable for me. The comments below praised him as a good man, saying that his absence these days must have been to prepare all these things. Otherwise, how could so much be arranged in just 7 days? During these 7 days, I still went live every day, talking about how much I was looking forward to the wedding day. On the 7th day, I started the live stream early in the morning, and the camera followed the taxi to the Royal Hotel, only to be told that there was no reservation under the name Evan at all. Impossible. My fiancé said he booked the wedding at your place. How could there be none? I put on a very painful expression, looking utterly incredulous. Miss, are you sure you're not mistaken? Why don't you ask your fiancé again? Facing the camera, I called Evan's number, dialing 10 times, but no one answered any of them. As I kept calling, I wiped away my tears. In this state, anyone who saw me would be moved to tears. The comments have been flooded with people cursing Evan. What the heck is going on? Didn't he swear he would marry the streamer? And even said the banquet was booked. So why is there nothing at all? I've said it before, a man who jokes about things at a wedding can't be a good person. The streamer is also foolish for actually believing him. Don't tell me this is all just another one of his jokes? I think it's very likely. I knelt on the ground crying, gasping for breath, and the staff came over to support me but couldn't pull me up. No, this can't be real, none of this is real. Of course, none of this is real. A familiar voice sounded behind me, and when I turned around, I saw Nathan dressed in a white suit, holding a bouquet of flowers, slowly walking toward me. He pulled me up from the ground and gently wiped away the tears at the corner of my eyes. Everyone saw it too. Evan had previously sworn he would marry Yo-Yo, even saying that as soon as he got divorced, he would give her a grand wedding. It was all a lie. It was just a joke he played on you all. But I'm not joking. I truly like Yo-Yo, and today is the wedding I promised her. In front of all the online viewers, Nathan and I held the wedding again. Because time was tight, we didn't invite either of our parents or relatives. Instead, we invited friends from both sides and some nearby online friends. Some nearby online friends even took a taxi to the venue and helped us livestream from the audience. My best friend came too. She saw me in my wedding dress being led onto the stage by Nathan, smiling brightly. Under the witness of our online friends, we exchanged rings again. This time, the wedding was no joke, only blessings. Halfway through the wedding, Evan suddenly burst in. He was wearing a jacket and jeans, standing below the stage, his eyes filled with rage. Yo-Yo, you lied to me. You never really divorced. I shrugged and replied, yeah, you lied to me too. You never intended to marry me. Evan bit his lip. I was just joking with you. I never said I wouldn't marry you. On the contrary, it was you who broke your promise. You clearly said you would divorce, but not only did you not divorce, you even held a wedding. The netizens attending the banquet below, upon seeing Evan in person, all started throwing the dishes on the table at him, shouting, "Get lost, just kidding. Joking all day long, who wants to joke with you? Who casually jokes about a wedding every day? You don't love her at all, the only one you love is yourself." Evan was exposed online for making a joke with netizens and ended up unable to go to work, having to slink back to his hometown. As for me, I moved back into Nathan's house and from then on lived a shameless life.